Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at a set of data and a situation and wanting to determine whether it's proportional. We're going to graph it. We're going to complete our table. Okay, so this is a question coming from CPM Course 3, and this is section 8.1.2, specifically number 8-21. So it says the choir is planning a trip to the water park, and the parents are trying to determine how much to charge each child. The cost to use the bus is $350. Complete the table at the right, graph your results, and then answer the parts A and B below. So here's the situation we have. The cost to use the bus is $350, no matter what. No matter how many kids we have, it's $350 to use the bus. So what they want to know is they want to be able to charge the students accordingly. So if I have 10 students going, how much does each student have to pay in order to cover the cost of the bus, right? So in other words, 10 times something equals 350. So I want to know what amount do each student cost per student. What do I have to charge? So we know that one we can see is going to be 35, right? So $35. So 10 times 35 is 350. So what about if there was 15? If there was 15 students, how much per student? So again, so we're going to look at 15 times something to be 350. Well, to do that, we're going to want to do some division, right? The opposite of multiplication is division. So to figure out this number, I'm going to take 350 and divide it by, so it's going to be, I'll put it over here, say this, 350 divided by 15. I'm going to use a calculator for that, and it looks like that's going to cost $23.33. So $23.33 per child if there's 15. Okay. So I keep going the same pattern right here, right? So now the pattern is I've got 20 students. So if I'm going to do 20, I'm going to take 350 divided by 20. In that case, again, you can use a calculator to determine that. It should be 1750. My last one, if there's 35 students, that one's not as bad. 35 what? 35 times what is 350? So that would be times 10. So there's four situations of if there were this many students, that would be the cost, because every time the cost is 350. So I have to break even with my number of students and cost per student. All right, so they want us to now take this information and graph it. Okay, so if I'm going to graph this, let's see if I might have to get my camera up a little bit higher here so I can see my whole situation. There we go. So if I'm going to graph this, I want to label my graph accordingly. So we're going to say my number of students is going to be number of students is going to be my x-axis, and then my cost per student. So this is going to be cost per student is going to be my y-axis. Okay, so complete the table and graph. So that's what we're doing. So let's see, number of students. Since I'm getting up to 35, let's see if I can go, see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Nope. So I'm going to have to maybe go by tens here, or let's go by 10. So 10, 20, and 30, and 40. Okay. So I'm going by twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then so on and so forth. So that's the number of students. And then my y-axis is going to be the cost. I need to get up to 35. So once again, I might just go by tens. So 10 go by twos, I should say, which allows me to get up to 10 there. So 10, 20, 30, and then 40 at the top. And that's my cost. So if I'm going to graph my points at 10, I'm at 35, which is right about here. At 15 students, let's see, 15 would be in between right here. Looks like 15 students is 23, 33. So there's 20, 20, 22, 24. So about right in between. right? So that's 24. So I was a little bit below that. And then at 20 students, it's 1750. So that's 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So just below 18. And then my last one that I have is 35. At 35 students, which is halfway here, I'm at $10. So that's there. Okay. So if I look at my pattern for this is this, what's this curve, right? Because I'm always using division. I always have two numbers that multiply to be. So each of these, this x times the y always has to equal 350. So I've got this situation that is not linear, right? It is not linear. So if I go down and answer these questions, think back to your work on proportions. Is this proportional? Well, this is not proportional, right? Why? Not proportional, so it's not proportional. And the reason why is it's not a constant rate of change. Okay, so it's uh, not proportional because not a constant, because you have to have a constant rate of change, constant rate. And the other thing is it has to go through zero and no 0, 0, right? It's got to go through 0, 0. That won't ever be the case. So it doesn't go through 0, 0, not a constant rate, so it's not proportional. All right. Last one, is there an association between the number of students and the cost per student? Well, yes, I would say yes, there is an association. So yes, and we would say it's uh, a negative non-linear association. Okay, and there's no outliers because I see that pattern, so no outliers. All right. Okay, there we go.